For my project, I'm going to be talking about Taylor Swift and conservative feminism. Are traditional gender roles out of style or actually romantic? So first, what is conservative feminism and what are traditional gender roles? Conservative feminists believe that women should have the same rights as men, but they should not be radical or loud about their beliefs. Additionally, conservative feminists support traditional gender roles and celebrate the role of the housewife. For the purposes of this project, I'm defining traditional gender roles as men working and making money while women stay home and care for the family. Frank Taylor, a former executive director for the American Sociological Association, analyzed the way gender is described in children's books. He references studies where girls were defined as quiet, dependent, and without intellectual ambition. On the other hand, boys were described as lively, dominant, and career-driven from an early age. With that being said, as of 2025, Taylor Swift promotes traditional gender roles, a value of conservative feminism, through her music, specifically The Life of a Showgirl, and actions. The Life of a Showgirl is hyper-focused on Travis Kelce, and any tracks that deviate from him are lacking in quality. For someone who has preached female empowerment and independence, The Life of a Showgirl insinuates the opposite. The connection to traditional gender roles isn't the fact that she's engaged and in love with Travis, it's the way that she's describing their dynamic. For example, Wish List details Swift's new life goal is to have Kelce's children and start a cookie-cutter American dream family with a basketball hoop in the driveway. In addition, the music video for Fate of Ophelia, as well as the theme of The Life of a Showgirl, centers around the idea of being an entertainer of the male gaze. Whether Swift's intentions were satirical or not, the implications associated to traditional gender roles and conservative feminism still exist. Furthermore, since Swift and Joe Alwyn's separation in 2022, she has become significantly less vocal about political issues, and many began questioning the performative nature of her previous activism. Since Kelce is not a very outspoken person when it comes to politics, it seems that Taylor is now following in the lifestyle of her fiancé. This kind of behavior promotes the idea that the man's values and beliefs dominate the relationship. The track Cancelled is especially confusing considering Swift's past songs You Need to Calm Down and The Man, which solidified Taylor's place as an ally and advocate for equality. In Cancelled, Swift is excusing celebrities being held accountable over controversial actions or words. Yet, 6 years prior in You Need to Calm Down, Swift was essentially doing the opposite, preaching for people to be more inclusive and hold others accountable for saying controversial things. This is essentially a step backwards in her activism throughout her career. In Actually Romantic, Swift shades Charli XCX, despite Charli's previous track, Sympathy is a Knife, being more of an admiring confession than a diss towards Taylor. Swift's choice to tear another woman of the music industry down does not represent values of more left-leaning feminism. Instead, her feeling threatened by Charli's recent success reveals potential insecurities and more conservative values, i.e., not partying and instead settling down with an all-American strong man. Can't miss this transition here. Okay. I'm going to first read a quote from conservative feminist Maribel Morgan and then one from liberal feminist Gloria Steinem. I want you to consider which aligns more with the overall theme of The Life of a Showgirl. So first from Maribel Morgan, it is only when a woman surrenders her life to her husband, reveres and worships him, and is willing to serve him that she becomes really beautiful to him. She becomes a priceless jewel, the glory of femininity, his queen. And then from Gloria Steinem, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. Clearly, the Morgan quote fits more with The Life of a Showgirl. As previously mentioned, Taylor's making her main purpose in life to please Travis and become his wife. The Life of a Showgirl is different from her previous album, The Tortured Poets Department, in that it lacks depth in the lyrics, and where songs about Travis on Tortured Poets Department were cute, lighthearted, and whimsical, the entirety of The Life of a Showgirl seems to be a bit obsessive and overdoing it, in a The Total Woman by Maribel Morgan kind of way. Next, I have 2 quotes from 2 interviews I conducted. So my first interview is with Rebecca Seaman, and I have some background on her identity listed on the slide. And then I asked her, should celebrities be involved in and aware of political issues? And she said yes, because they're a part of society and they shouldn't be excluded. And then next, I interviewed Scott Rarig, and I asked him, do you think Taylor Swift would be considered a feminist? And he said no, because it seems like from her works, she only cares about sharing her struggles, but not the struggles of women as a whole. So I hope that these 2 questions and quotes from these 2 interviews help kind of tie together my overall thesis and what I'm trying to get at, and bring some outside perspective from different demographics and different kinds of people, and kind of see what other people think about my topic. So that's basically it. Thank you for listening and watching. And yeah, overall, Taylor Swift has perpetuated traditional gender roles in recent years through the release of The Life of a Showgirl and her recent life choices associated with that. Thank you.